Oh, today I received an email from WES. If your email address was with WES, then obviously you must have received this email as well. If you couldn't see it, let me just show it to you. Oh yes, you can see it now. Can you see it right? Well, anyway, let me put this screen on somewhere around here so that you guys could read it with me. Now, according to WES, there is a good news for all the applicants who are applying for an ECA, Educational Credential Assessment. And towards the end of this video, I will share how this news will be interpreted for Pakistani students, and also what are the updates for Indian students. So watch the complete video so that you know all the information and what is the latest update from WES. And trust me, it's a good news. Okay, so yeah. If you scroll down your email, then here you would be able to see, in most cases, you only need to submit your highest credential for ECA. Now, how is that a good news? Because if we take it 3 months back, WES would need your intermediate documents, especially if you're from Pakistan. They would need your bachelor degrees, they would need your master degrees, but now they only need your highest credential. Isn't that a good news? But there is a different aspect to that if you are from India. So stay tuned for the whole video. Yes. Okay. Now, if we look down deep, if you have a doctorate, if you have a PhD, then you don't need to send it to. Then you don't need to send your bachelor or your master's degree to WES. And if you have a master's degree, then you do not need to submit your bachelor's degree for evaluation. Okay. And if you have a bachelor's degree, then you do not need to submit your secondary school records. So simple as that. PhD, you only send your PhD. If you have a master's, you only send your master's. If you have a bachelor's, you only send your bachelor's. Okay. And yeah, for Indian credential, there is a potential outliner. Okay. But I will talk about that in a bit. And I'm going to talk about Pakistani and Indian education combined, because as you know that WES is rigid in most ways, and they most likely will not consider your masters as masters in terms of Canadian equivalency. So if you send only your highest degree and they accept it as a bachelor's degree, then you will not get points for 2 or more bachelors. Yes. So if you want to achieve 2 or more degree equivalency, then you should send your bachelor's along. Now, it does not say anywhere that sending bachelor's is prohibited. It is not at all. But if you send your bachelor's, it might take some extra days for them to evaluate your ECA. So I recommend sending both your degrees if you have Indo-Pak education, because WES will most likely not recognize your masters as masters in Canadian equivalency. Okay, so for that, to tackle that situation, you need to gain two or more degrees evaluation. Yes, so for that you need to send both of your degrees. If you have 3 degrees, send 3 of your degrees. So I mean, there is no defined rule that you cannot send them. You can send them, you should send them, especially if you're looking for a TOM, a 2 or more bachelors. Okay, now let's move on to what they have in store for Indian education. Now, yes, if you attended school in India, then you would need to send your master's degree, and you will also need to send your bachelor's degree as well. So this good news is applicable to most parts of the world, but apparently for Indian education, they need your bachelor's. They still need your bachelor's if you're getting your master's evaluated. But still, nonetheless, I suggest that you send both your degrees, so that if they do not consider it as a master's degree, still they would consider it as a 2 or more bachelor's. So you must know that 2 or more gives you more points in terms of CRS than bachelor's degree alone. Yes. So for that, for gaining 2 or more degrees, you would need to send 2 degrees actually. If you send only your master's and they do not evaluate it as master's degree, then you will not get 2 or more. For gaining 2 or more, you will need to send 2 degrees. This is the point of this video. Okay, so this is what you would have received in your email inbox. If you still have not checked it, then I read it out for you. Okay, so this was the WES update, and it's a good news after all, that many people who are submitting, for example, their BDS or their LLB, then because WES will evaluate it as professional degree, which is equivalent to master's, now they do not need to send their bachelor's degrees. But if you're from Pakistan, you should send both of your degrees, so that in case WES does not recognize it, you still get a 2 or more. And for Indian education, you will need to send both of your degrees. Now, I want to raise a point here, that if we go 6 months back, and you had education from UK or from any foreign location, then if you remember, WES only needed your that qualification from that foreign location. If you had your education from Pakistan or India, for example, bachelor's, they did not need your bachelor's degree if you had a master's from Germany or from France or from UK. They only needed your master's. Now for Pakistani education as well, they only need your master's, but still I recommend sending both degrees. I hope you get my point, and I hope this video would help you in your ECA journey. This is the purpose of this channel, that if you are applying for Canadian immigration, I try to bring out news and updates so that you keep yourself updated for all the news that is happening around you. Okay, so this is Ali Iftikhar, and I'm signing off.